each of them received the usual daily wage. Now, when the first came, they thought he would receive more, but each of them also received the usual daily wage. And when they received it, they grumbled against the landowners, saying, "These last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat." But he replied to one of them, "Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what belongs to you, and go. I choose to give to this last the same as I gave to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I am generous?" So the last will be first, and the first will be last. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Last Sunday, we exalted on the cross, on the wood that becomes the instrument of our salvation. The cross of Jesus is the greatest sign of contradiction. It is the lowest sign of his humiliation and also the highest sign of his exaltation. We exalted, we worshipped, we adored the cross, not for its brutality, but for its power to save, through the power of love, through the power of powerlessness. Indeed, the cross became the throne of innocent love. From the cross, as Jesus was hanging, he spoke of love alone. The words that came out from his lips were all love and forgiveness, and a sense of abandonment to his Father, who seemed to have abandoned him. The cross is the throne of love. And this is the cross that we are baptized into the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. And as baptized by the cross of Jesus, we are graced with love, and we are sent to the world in order to proclaim to the world that the love of God is more powerful than hatred, and that life in God is stronger than death. That is the very meaning of the cross, the very sign of our faith. The cross of Jesus, the cross that is marked to us when we were baptized. This is the cross that brings us our salvation. Tonight, let us reflect on salvation through the lens of our concrete personal and social collective experience. In the entrance antiphon of this Sunday's Mass, God clearly declares, "I am the salvation of the people." I am the salvation of the people. So what is salvation? What is your feeling about salvation? What is your experience of salvation? In the first reading, Prophet Isaiah encourages the people of Israel to seek and still be found because He is still near. From the lens of seeking and calling, salvation, therefore, is the experience of finding and reaching God. If you are seeking for something, and when you have found what you are seeking for, that is salvation. When you are calling for help, and then your call for help reaches to the ears of the person that you are in need, and he comes or she comes to help, that is salvation. Call being answered. It is similar to our experience of seeking for our reading glasses so that we can enjoy reading the morning paper. You forgot, because of your age, there are kind of senior moments where you put your eyeglasses. So you went to the bathroom, it's not there. You went to the kitchen, it was not there. You went to the garage, it was not there. Then you were so disappointed and feeling so exasperated, and then you touch your head, and then, oh my God, it's on my head. Finding the eyeglasses is an experience of salvation because you have found the means that you can use to enjoy the indulgence of reading the paper. Finding is the experience of salvation for those who are searching. Or it is also similar to reaching 911 after a number of failed attempts. You were in the accident, so immediately you pulled out your mobile phone. You dialed 911. But because you were in a very secluded area, the signal is so poor, so you cannot contact 911 at once. But you did not give up. You dialed 911 again, and again, and again, until it reaches 911 and says, 911, what's your emergency? And then hearing the voice of the operator from the other end, you feel so very happy because you know that help is on the way. Reaching 911 in times of emergency is an experience of salvation. Seeking, then finding. Calling, then reaching. These are experience of heaven. These are experience of salvation. In the second reading, Paul describes salvation in terms of relational terms. He said, for me, living is Christ, and dying is gain. Living is Christ, dying is gain. What did St. Paul want to convey? He wants to convey that when we are in a relationship that is trusting and loving, that is an experience of salvation. It is similar to a mutually loving relationship between husbands and wives and parents and children. In a mutually loving relationship between husbands and wives, in that relationship, no one is abused or used. Husbands and wives support and affirm each other. In that relationship, no one is boasting and no one is being bossed around. Both enjoy equal responsibilities as well as privileges. 100% all the time of their life, of their self. Because what husbands and wives bring to a marriage, what is the gift you give to your wife, to your spouse? Not your bank account, not your inheritance, but it is yourself. Yourself is your gift to your spouse. So in a mutually loving relationship, it is an experience of salvation, because sense of equality and respect is alive and present. Between parents and children, parents are proud and happy for their children, not because they brought their children into the world, but because they have developed a trusting relationship. Children are proud and happy for their parents, not because of the financial support alone, but because of the trust and confidence that their parents accord to them as they try to explore the world and to discover their place in the world. A mutually loving relationship is life-giving, and therefore it is heaven. It is an experience of salvation. In the Gospel, the Matthean Jesus describes salvation as the pay that is right. The pay that is right. Through this parable, we see how generous God is. And in the time of reckoning, there were first people who were hired to work, and they agreed that they will be paid with the daily wage. What is a daily wage? A daily wage is a wage that one person in the family works, but that money can already sustain them for the rest of the day without resorting to credit. It is a salary that will really give the family a decent life for the day. So that is what they agreed. But there were people who were hired just an hour before the salary will be paid. And so the first group of people grumbled because the last received the same salary, the daily wage. When their turn came, they thought they will receive more. But they also received the same amount of salary, the daily wage. In our human mind, we can say that God is unjust, because these 6 people bore the heat of the day for 8 hours, and these last people only an hour. So, the question is, did God violate any law of labor, any standard of labor? No. To the contrary, God challenges our pity and narrow understanding of what is a just wage. We have minimum wage. But do you think that the minimum wage is enough so that a family of 4 can have